I used to believe that love was built on the quiet moments, the shared smiles in the kitchen, the gentle brushes of fingertips while passing each other, the whispered I love yous before falling asleep. But somewhere along the line, the woman I married, Emily, stopped participating in those moments, and our love began dying in the slow suffocation of routine, neglect, and emotional starvation. In the early days, everything felt alive. Our kisses were deep and urgent, her laughter filled rooms like sunlight spilling through curtains, and we would make love in places we probably shouldn't have, on countertops, in the car after a late movie, even once in the back of a dressing room just because we couldn't wait. But over time that fire turned to ash, and the woman who used to claw at my back with desire now flinched when I touched her arm. We stopped talking about our dreams and started talking only about bills, groceries, and deadlines, and every night I came home to a woman who looked through me like I was invisible. Our bed became a border, our conversations cold, and our sex life vanished like a ghost we didn't have the courage to acknowledge. And worst of all, I stayed because I believed things could change, because I remembered who she used to be, because I thought love meant holding on even when it hurt, but holding on only made me bleed more. I asked her once, just once, why she didn't seem interested in me anymore, and she shrugged and said, "People change," and turned away like it was nothing, like I was nothing. And that night I lay awake while she slept, inches from me but galaxies away, wondering how the woman who once traced constellations on my chest with her fingers could now pull away like my touch was poison. I started noticing things, her late nights at work that didn't add up, the way she hid her phone the moment I walked into the room, the way she started putting on makeup again just to go get groceries. And one day I followed her, not to stalk her but to confirm what my gut had been screaming for weeks. And there she was, laughing too loudly in a cafe booth with her coworker Mark, the same man she once called annoying and arrogant, now leaning close enough to touch noses while she twirled her hair and touched his arm in ways she hadn't touched me in months. And something in me broke, not in rage but in numb, aching silence. I didn't confront her, not yet, because I wanted her to bury herself deeper, to dig the grave of our marriage with her own hands. And while she played house with him behind my back, I played the long game. I smiled, cooked dinner, folded her laundry, all while collecting every text, every selfie, every lie. And just as I planned, she got sloppy. One night she came home late, hair disheveled, reeking of cologne that wasn't mine, and had the audacity to kiss my cheek like I was her doormat, her backup plan, her silent fool. And that's when I decided I was done. Not with anger, but with power. Because I wouldn't leave quietly, I would let her feel everything I felt, but louder. I joined the gym, lost the weight she once mocked, changed my wardrobe, and began flirting with life again. Female coworkers started noticing, smiles turned into drinks, drinks turned into nights where I remembered what passion felt like. And though I never cheated, I felt more alive than I had in years. Meanwhile, Emily noticed the shift. She saw me texting more, dressing better, laughing louder, and her fake concern quickly turned to suspicion, then jealousy, and one night, she tried to initiate sex after nearly 2 years of drought, slipping into the room in lace lingerie she once claimed made her feel ridiculous, and whispered, "I miss this." But I didn't even flinch. I looked her dead in the eyes and said, "I'm not in the mood," and watched her face crumble with the realization that the man she took for granted had finally stopped craving her. The next day, she snooped through my phone, looking for what she already feared, and while there was nothing inappropriate, there was everything she needed to realize. Pictures of me with other people smiling, gym selfies, texts from women complimenting my haircut, and one message that read, "You look happy lately, I'm glad." And when she confronted me, her voice cracked with desperation I hadn't heard since our wedding day. But I stayed calm, leaned back and said, "Isn't this what you wanted? A roommate? Congratulations, I've finally become one." And I walked away as she sobbed in the kitchen we once kissed in, and I didn't look back. But it wasn't over. I waited until our anniversary, the same date she had planned a weekend getaway with Mark. Yes, I knew. And I printed every message, every picture, and slid them into an envelope with the words "Happy Anniversary" written in gold, then left it on her pillow before I walked out with my suitcase. She didn't call that night or the next, and when I returned 3 days later, she was gone, her clothes, her toothbrush, even the stupid live laugh love wall art she insisted on keeping. But she left the ring, sitting on my nightstand like an apology too late to matter. I moved on, not quickly but intentionally, joined a photography club, started traveling, even met someone who made me feel like I was worth touching again, not just out of habit but hunger, and when we kissed, I didn't feel guilt, only relief. Months later, Emily reached out, no Apology, just a simple "can we talk?" And I agreed out of curiosity more than anything, and we met at the same cafe where I first saw her cheat. Full circle in the most poetic way. She looked thinner, tired, worn while I was glowing with quiet peace, and she admitted Mark had moved on, that she missed me, that she didn't know how good she had it. And I listened without emotion like a stranger would, nodding politely, sipping my coffee until she asked, "Can we try again?" And I stood up, placed a few dollars on the table, leaned in close and whispered, "You treated me like a roommate, now I treat you like a stranger." Then walked out into the sun, where a new woman waited for me with laughter in her eyes and warmth in her hands. And for the first time in years I didn't look back, because the past didn't deserve my future anymore, and neither did she.